I've been part of the RFS for 30 years. I'm Deputy Captain of the Woollahra Fire Brigade, which is one of the closest fire brigades on the eastern side, about 15 kilometres from here. So we've had a reasonable amount of Pilliga experience, and they're not to be underestimated, Pilliga fires.
The last fire through here was December '06. Because it was no houses burnt or anything like that, it never actually made the news, but it was apparently about 16,000 hectares, and it burnt out in 3 hours.
To build a gas field and introduce methane into that mix is just ridiculous. There were even volunteer RFS that refused to come up to this region, because one of the dangers with what's been going on in the Pilliga, such as the fracking that has occurred in the past, is that you can't smell methane. So you could be standing on a methane hotspot and you won't know it until the flames hit it and boom. So a lot of people don't want to risk their lives, especially as volunteers, for something they don't even support.
A concern we have with anyone doing development out here in the Pilliga scrub is, number one, their ability to set fire to the scrub. Number two, the people that are out there working, it's unsafe for them because we know the potential of this place, and it can be very severe and very unforgiving. I'd be sceptical about their ability to remotely operate infrastructure. Reading in the EIS, they seem to think that running a 3 or 4 metre long bare flame flaring from a gas well through a total catastrophic fire ban is quite acceptable according to Santos. You just got to have one leaf go through that flare and you're in trouble. Most of the gas field is to our northwest. If we get a hot nor'wester and they've got their flares running, then we're the first people to wear that.
It can be very scary sometimes. We recently, in 2013, we went through a massive fire through the back of Coonabarabran, and then that fire that started early last year, the Santos fire, that was almost 26,000 hectares that were burnt off. So we are aware of fires. We are very careful about what we do in this region, and that's why we find it ridiculous that flares can still burn in a total fire ban.
What we got here is a single access road in to this site, and you've got a huge Pilliga fuel load. She's all ready to go. The cypress is starting to dry off. Yeah, I think it's a huge risk. Huge risk.
In the middle of summer, you get a fire in here, it'll go like buggery. What you got there is an understory and a top story, and if the understory like this catches fire, it'll soon become a crowning fire. Up here, this was all burnt out in December '06. It was an enormously powerful bushfire, and you can see here it's killed all the trees. And this is the remains of the fence that was here, and that was there's bugger all left of the old fence. We only found wires on the ground. This area was all burnt bare, basically. You could see a kilometre into the scrub.
When Pilliga burns, it's not 200 hectares here and 500 hectares there, it's in the tens of thousands, and it can happen in hours. So the preparedness of the site, or the risk to the site, and particularly the people on the site, is bloody high, really high. Different crowd by the look of it. Yeah. About there, I'd say.
So with contacts within the RFS, we've managed to come across the Santos fire plan, which they have submitted, and basically it's a worthless piece of document. It's very thin, has no substance, and there is no plan. All they plan to do is turn off the wells remotely and leave the area. There's no fire action plan, they're not fighting anything. They are leaving it up to volunteers to risk their life in a gas field, surrounded by flammable gas, for their project, and it's just not acceptable.